ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Hello everybody, once again, this is the ESL Pro League in North America. Here with Blue, we're going to get map 2 underway. Pretty cool victory out of Selfless. We were just talking about really cool adjustments that we saw them make there.
Big swing back from them too, considering how badly it started off. I think it was like 8-1 or 7-1 at one point, at the worst point of it, but then they just go on like a huge 6 or 7 round streak to bring it up to 9-6 at the end of the first half.
And more so than that, it wasn't really the tactical change in my mind that did it. It was just they came out swinging. They came out with more confidence. They were very much more assertive and aggressive in taking fights. And that carried over into the second half. You could see as CT's even rushing down mid, stopping OpTic from doing anything, being the aggressors, even on the CT side. Their banana control was excellent. And it just seemed like OpTic kind of stalled out after that one. They didn't really have a response to that kind of aggression.
Yep, and as you said too, no pauses being taken. They never really tried to re-strategize themselves, and it was almost the exact opposite of Selfless. They basically lost all their steam, and it sort of got transferred over to the guys on Selfless, so they were able to take that map. And now we're going to go to Mirage, which could be quite an interesting one considering both these teams' history here.
Well, yes, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so for the guys over on OpTic, it's been a fairly hit-or-miss map in my opinion for these guys, but we have seen quite a few victories in the past year versus North American teams. The problem, though, is that as of late, this has not been the case. They've been losing to quite a few of the North American counterparts, most notably dropping it to C9 and I believe Winterfox as well recently, which is, again, that's one that really you shouldn't see happening, but Winterfox seemed to be on a bit of a rise as of late, so we can discount that one as being a little bit more of a legitimate win for those guys. And as for the guys over here on Selfless, this is one that they've actually been quite potent on. They beat, I think they beat the Renegades here for their very first or second match in the Pro League, and it often comes to the power of whoever is the opera for this team. We've already seen in the past with Kusta, and Nifty doesn't seem to be missing any steps taking his space, so if that's able to continue here and he's able to hold that power over towards middle or inside of the connector, then these guys are going to be really strong on the CT side.
Yeah, I was going to say this. Those players to watch, Shazam and Nifty, that seemed very appropriate based off the first match we saw on Inferno. Shazam on fire in the first half, cooled down in the second, as did the rest of OpTic, but it was Nifty who had a monster game. He ended with like 27 kills or something crazy like that on Inferno. So here, I mean, if he's going to be the opper, we've seen how much impact that can have on Mirage. Helps out with mid control very much. A lot of different positions this op can take, whether it's pushing into A Palace, playing him over towards B Hall so you can cheat or rotate over off Catwalk in the window and connector. A lot of opportunities for these oppers to be aggressive and also have a double op setup perhaps even come out into play. I've seen that be very effective for teams, but it's going to be all about for OpTic who's going to step up outside of Shazam. They need Stanislaw, like we said. We said he's a very good impact player. He's been having a very good job. He's been doing a very good job on this team, finding these kills, finding these crucial openings for him in the matches that I've seen recently. And he was very quiet on Inferno. Naf also has got to step up. Someone other than Shazam has to be able to bring their game.
So now over here for the guys, this actually is going to be a bit of a rematch too, because we saw these two teams play on this map about 2 weeks ago. I think it was for Sivo's Pro League, and it was quite dominant for OpTic. However, this was quite a little bit of time ago, and judging from the performance we just saw, it could be a very different result today, especially with Selfless constantly growing and evolving their game and changing things up. Seem to be one of the actually more successful North American teams when it comes to constantly improving their game.
Well, especially improving with what they're working with. They don't have any of the big names that we've seen over the past few seasons be really good individually. These are all players who are kind of finding themselves, finding their feet together as a team, and it's really cool to watch. This is why they were one of my favorite teams just 2 seasons ago. Even with just a 500 record, you could see improvements week to week. You could see them putting in the work and the effect it was having on the matches, and that opening Inferno was crazy to me. That was really cool. I'm just still blown away that they were able to make that kind of a comeback.
And, I mean, even if we go back just a couple of months to talk about Selfless 2, some people, I mean, myself included, I was saying this, was like, okay, we weren't really seeing any of these big plays from quite a few of the players, but then we go up to the minor, where up until that point, it had mainly just been Kusta doing all the work, and there's these big improvements. We finally start to see that work starting to pay off. That's the big land that Mainline and Uber had, where we saw those big performances from them, and it's only continued to grow on the individual basis for those players, and the teams continue to evolve as well. Their strategies have been getting more complex, their map pool has continued to grow, and overall, they've just been looking like more and more of a solid team. Granted, they've not had a whole lot of experience going up against international teams. I think really the only experience in that regard that they've had was at the major qualifiers, but very possibly if this trend continues for this team, we could see a lot more of that very soon.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If this continues, if they keep up this pace of play, because they're in a good position right now. If they can just continue this form, they don't even really have to improve. They're going to be making these finals, and we'll see them get a second chance. Because it should be said that their performance at the major qualifier, they got bodied pretty hard. They showed absolutely nothing of this form we're seeing right now. So definitely these guys chomping at the bit to get another chance against some of the international competition.
So we are in the knife round now, guys, and of course it is going to be a little bit more important here to decide that, well, probably just as important as back on Inferno, of course, but the guys over here on Selfless, they're going to be winning it, and that means more than likely they're going to be able to start off on the CT side, unless they make a rather rash decision of jumping onto the T side. Like
Which we saw yesterday.
Yeah, and ended up being a bit of a mistake to a certain degree.
Yeah, I would say so. No trickiness here, though. Selfless just going to take that CT side. Should say as well, I don't know much about Mitch, but I do know he's playing for Lucky at the moment.
I'm pretty sure he's taken over for the roster completely.
Okay.
I think he's replaced Lucky, which I thought was an interesting change. Lucky didn't really seem to be doing all that bad for the team. He was actually pretty important in quite a few of their online matches, but Mitch has jumped on. Haven't really seen anything too amazing from him just as of yet, but I think they're still trying to fit him in.
Aside from that second round on Inferno, the CT, when he got 3 of the CZ kills from that against Rifles from the closet on Rep side, that was huge. Didn't have the volume of frags, but the impact was definitely there. Look at this, Nifty, of all people, highly confident, pushing up mid, trying to find some information. Does spot one, no damage dealt either way. He's just going to fall away. Both teams willing to call that a stalemate. There is 2 players over at this B bomb site. That's going to be Mitch, and it's going to be Mainline. Mainline just, up here on the balcony, just trying to bait a little bit for Mitch. If this hit does come in, they might not expect a second player to be there, but now they're going to push forward, and actually they catch Daps out in the open. He swings far too wide.
And now, with that opening kill going in the way of Selfless here, they're just going to be able to keep their standard positions. No reason to worry about it. OpTic, though, they have to evolve big time here. Naf peeking out from the Palace there a little bit too early, and it looked like they were going to try to roll over here towards mid and just explode outside the connector, but they've had to call off this plan too, so they've gone from plan A to plan B. Now they're on plan C, which is just slowly creep through the back of the B bomb site and see if they can explode out through the apartments instead. Yeah,
plan C. All right, guys, we've lost 2 players where we didn't need to. They just fell with no progression whatsoever. Now rush B. Mainline gets caught out a little bit off guard, but he's going to adjust in the bomb site. Mitch does grab one. That's the bomb down. Oh, and a nice shot onto Rush. He holds this B bomb site so well. Stan has nothing to do here. Bomb is down. The rotations are in. He's in a 4-on-1. Finds the first kill onto Relics. Jumping across, trying to isolate more defenders. The knife is out, but Uber's going to get the headshot anyways.
Just as we were talking about Mitch, he comes out crazy with this hold on the B bomb site and picks up 3 kills to start it off for Selfless. They take the lead to start themselves off. Immediate investment coming in, and it looks like OpTic are going to try to respond just as heavily, though. They're buying up the Tech 9 armor. Naf goes for the Deagle armor buy. Quite a few players are going to follow suit to Daps' buy, and Shazam, of course, saving a little bit more to afford the up on that 4th round, but without a plant to show. We do want to look to try and get one here so that 4th round is not going to be as weak of a buy.
3 UMPs on the board for Selfless into this round. Spread out across the map. Nifty in the window room watching mid. Bomb is on Stan, who with Nafly is playing behind this smoke at A ramp. That nade does a little bit of damage, down to 78. He's one of the players with that Deagle. But as this round goes later on, if it's going to stay slow pace from OpTic, they're going to run out of these smoke on Stanislaw. I mean, this Deagle from Naf is the best opportunity they have at the moment to find a pick to kind of weaken this defense, to spread them thin. Nifty spots him with that jumping shot, does land on a Rush.
It brings Rush down to just 3 HP now, and they're trying to boost Daps up on top, but the problem is it's taken so long to accomplish this that, well, Nifty's ready for it. He gets dinked down at 10 HP, though, but at the same time, the response is just as heavy onto Daps. He's down at 7 HP. Some good damage being done to Nifty, but OpTic just as heavily. However, Naf just rolls right into basically the perfect time. He's able to find Relics with his back out in the open there. Uber responding nicely, holding over here by the triple stack, picks up 3 kills, and now another one coming into his favor, up to the 4th, and we will even see him find the 5th pick up there. A nice ace from Uber to put Selfless up at a good 2-0 start.
Yeah, it makes up. Someone had a miscommunication error to allow, was that Naf that got up so easily into that bomb site? I mean, can't let that happen when the guns come out, but either way, Uber adjusts nicely. 5 kills the ace. Nice stuff. He picks up the MP9 as well. Still have a couple of UMPs in play. Nifty still on the scout, but overall, Selfless, outside of that one small miscommunication, do hold nicely. Now Nifty, it's a shooting gallery, and with that many pistols, he's just going to fall away. Drops a nade out. It's a little bit early, does no damage, but Uber, once again, is here to clean things up.
And there we go. It's basically going to be just that cleanup there. Shazam striking back with 1 more kill. However, he falls pretty quickly to Nifty. Nifty even finding that final frag as well. A good 3-0 start to Selfless, and now OpTic goes for their full investment.
How many of this, what is going to be upgraded here by Selfless? That is the question. The op comes out onto Nifty. We have a couple UMPs. So now we're going to see this op battle against Shazam is going to be huge. Although all of OpTic right now, 4 members lined up towards the A bomb site. Naf is going to come over here as well. And there's an opening pick. Nifty gets aggressive into apartments. Shazam is ready for it. So 0.1 to Shazam. And now the hit is on. You can see Uber close up. He's a little bit blind. Rush gets a team kill. Relix is here. How much can he hold off? He's got to do a bigger job. He does get one more kill, but can't adjust after that. Either way, down to a 2-on-2. Shazam has control of the bomb site, peering towards Catwalk.
So now down to that 2v2, and the players from OpTic moving in. There's Shazam once more, picking up an additional kill on the main line, just on Mitch at this point, but Shazam's going to shut it down. OpTic with a nice closeout, and they're going to be able to pick up the first gun round here. A Selfless fall behind a little bit here, but they've saved a lot of money from those first few anti-ecos, and they're going to have no trouble at all rebuying.
Yeah, they're going to be missing an AWP though. Nifty doesn't have that, so early aggression punish. Shazam has 4 kills on that round, so continuing his terror from Inferno. He doesn't want to lose this one as well. Plenty of kills rain out from his AWP. Now Stan's going to be the first one at the top of mid, crossing over for the T side along with Shazam. They have mid control, but it's an underpass push. Heavy damage done under Rush. Look at this aggression again, continuing it from Inferno. Mitch isn't going to slow down. It's Daps who's under a lot of pressure. Mitch has to reload, but they forced OpTic out of these B tunnels. Stan's made his way up Catwalk. Relic's got to be careful on the fallback here. The Stan is right beneath him, and he has his knife out. It's going to be a free kill for Stan.
Stan finds that frag, and now the play. They're starting to second-guess themselves on OpTic as they were ready to just rush themselves in, but there's a nice shot from Shazam, taking down Mitch once again. He's on the roll already, and bringing this down to just 3 left alive from the CT. Stanislaw lining himself with another kill against Uber, going to be able to execute him, and Nifty still inside the palace. He might have a nice angle to work with if OpTic grows a little bit oblivious to his position. However, mainline is going to have to draw that attention, and Nifty just gave himself away, so they know for sure he's inside of there now, even after smoking it back off. OpTic have full control of the safe bomb, so there's not a whole lot that mainline and Nifty can do, so they're just going to fall back over through T-spawn and try to keep these guns in hand for the next round.
Yeah, that initial aggression from Selfless in the round, the double push towards Halls, that has to work out because they have nowhere to fall back to if they don't get those kills. And you can see Daps able to stay alive, just falls away. They missed an opportunity for 2 kills into that round. You can see Rush was brought very low initially, but doesn't fall. So then, I mean, there's just nowhere for him to go. They're trapped, and Shazam can kind of peel them apart. The defense over at the B bomb site is weakened. Stan makes a great play, great heads-up play with his game sense to just push up Catwalk, knowing so much of the force of the defensive Selfless is not going to be there.
So with now OpTic getting themselves up onto the board, 2-3 at this point. Starting to frag out quite heavily for the players on Selfless now. Heading into this next round, really not going to be able to justify another force-up coming up behind these 2 rifles. Maybe being able to drop another one off of mainline, considering he's sitting at 3,200 right now, but probably not going to be the case. We can already see a couple players just going for the usual pistol upgrades, and that seems to be all we will have in the mix. So they'll buy up 2 more rifles, actually, upgrading those, but Uber is just going to have to sit downgraded with a 5.7.
3 members in this B bomb site from Selfless. Push him on Catwalk. Naf's gonna eat some nades. Good early damage. There's a gap in that smoke though, and he spots the legs of Uber. Punished. Nicely done from Naf, remaining patient in the face of so many explosions. Rush is held off by Molotov at the moment, but this opening pick is gonna give OpTic a lot of time. They have mid control. This defense is gonna have to find some information at some point. That gives Shazam over a minute to work with this op, and there it is, a pick onto Catwalk. He's really coming alive here on this T side of Mirage. Some
nice shots from Shazam as he continues to frag. Daps trying to line one up against mainline, and he's going to be able to find that as well. And there's Stanislaw just rolls right inside of the ladder room, takes down Mitch, and just like that, it's only on Relix as the last man alive. And hey, it might end up being a team ace as Rush is the closest to being able to find that kill against Relix.
Yeah, this is a good round from OpTic. Just very early to lose a member, and then I mean, you could see once one member falls for Selfless, Shazam is just ready for any kind of peek, any kind of angle. He knows exactly where the next information gathering is going to come from. Stan's very low. Relix could find him here, and he does win that battle. Pushing forward, maybe able to trade over to the M4, which he does. But now all that's left is for him to try and stay alive. And Daps, they have him cordoned in very, very well. There's no way he's getting out of this. There it is. Daps takes the peek, finds the head of Relix as well. So 3-3 now.
No rifle being saved, of course, with Relix going down, and OpTic now starting to establish themselves quite nicely here after they tie it up. Selfless, still not really in a territory where they're going to be able to afford the buy-up after forcing in that previous one, so just going for a pretty light round here. PG-50's a deagle on Relix. A couple upgrades here and there to bring some utility, but it's really only going to be Uber bringing that HE and Relix with the flashbang. Most of these other guys are just going to try to line themselves up in some good angles. One and done spots so they can find a couple trades, but more than likely OpTic will have a pretty easy time in this round.
Yeah, especially because they're going to get aggressive up towards A-Ramp. Naf and Rush both getting entries. There's Relics responding, but now everyone's going to storm out of these apartments. Relics once again with a nice shot, but just too much to deal with. Too many AK-47s. Mainline's on the rotation through mid, seeing if anyone, being very patient, making sure he's not going to get flanked out. But it's a good round from OpTic. They do lose 2, but from here they should be able to get this bomb planted and survive without any more losses.
Bomb goes down, and Mainline just trying to sneak his way in through connector. Nobody really paying attention too much to it right now, but hopefully that player back over there on T-Ramp has got his eyes sort of, no, he's going to be free to sneak his way over here and sandwich, and there's a lineup, catches one for free, maybe be able to swipe onto Shazam, but not with Shazam in the shape he's doing right now. He continues to find these shots, shuts it down, prevents any more damage from going on to his team, and OpTic now going to take the lead away from Selfless.
Yeah, there was your team ace, and with these dominant victories of OpTic over the last 4 rounds, they built up a lot of money. Shazam's got 9K, Rush at about 7,000, Daps at 6,000. On the other side of the coin, I mean, Selfless is completely bought out, down to the bare minimum. A couple players on 0 as well. Nifty does have that AWP for the first time in a long time, and he's going to have to do something with it. Misses that initial shot. I mean, they were very exposed to him. They had no cover. The smoke hadn't plumed just yet, so that was a good opportunity for Nifty to find his team an advantage. But now mid-control. Selfless has really only been dedicating Nifty with this AWP to mid-control. Now that he's been forced back, OpTic can leverage it in whichever way they want.
They've got it. They're going to move themselves over here to try and get closer to the B-bomb site, smoking things off and obviously getting their fire going here to try and kill anybody that would be over there towards the steps. But Selfless very, very passive with their own setup, making sure that they're ready to rotate in the event it goes over towards that B-bomb site. Nifty hiding outside of the crawl space, leading inside of the window room. And as for Mitch and Mainline, they're actually being pretty mobile on that B-bomb site. Not exactly sure as to where this hit's going to be coming from just as of yet.
Very passive, content to let OpTic have this, not challenging it whatsoever. Daps has made his way up towards the top of connector. Nifty still watching this murder hole from CT spawn. OpTic still hasn't made their final play. Rush is in the B halls right now. Now he could connect with them through the underpass, but it looks more than likely that they're going to meet up with him, and this is going to be a split towards the B bomb site. Naf, though, challenges against Nifty, keeps him there. This is also pulling Mitch out of the B bomb site. Selfless actually thinks this is going to be an A hit. Relics is pushing down A ramp, though, so now he's starting to grab the information. So Mainline is going to have the job to do. He's going to be the one under the most pressure, and he can't find the right way to look. Mitch is the next one up, gets the kill on a stand. That's the bomb, but he's dropped so low. Not long for this world. Rush remains aggressive, wraps upon him.
Relics is trying to move back in as well to help these guys out. He might be able to find the drop onto Naf since Naf is rushing up to the site, but Relics slows down to keep himself quiet. And unfortunately, that's going to give away that chance. Naf also has his eyes on this flank now, too, so Relics more than likely going to be a dead man. Actually, it's the opposite. Relics is able to correct that kill as Naf's a little bit off the mark initially. 2 flashbangs being used on the way in, but Relics tripping himself up there. Shazam, given a chance to recover, going to be able to close out onto Relics, just down to Uber and Nifty. And there's Shazam connecting another shot on the Nifty, bringing him down to 17 HP. These CTs going to have such a hard time just getting into this site, let alone killing all the remaining Ts and getting that bomb defused in time. So they're going to give it up. They're going to fall back over to CT spawn, handing this round once again over to the guys on OpTic.
Nifty's really cooled down after this first map, not finding an impact here with the AWP. It's not been alive the way it was on Inferno, so needs to find some way to get back into this. He's going to have another chance as they save this op. No one's really chasing him down. But the defense now from Selfless, this is backfired. 5 rounds in a row for OpTic. Selfless hasn't been able to get back into the swing of things ever since the pistol round. So a scary spot to be at as this is going to start snowballing out of control. The next buy for Selfless, and it's looking like it's going to be this one, a little bit of a desperation. Force buying here, going to be a little bit light on some nades on Mainline and Nifty. But other than that, they should be okay, but they've got to start winning these rounds, and more importantly, they've got to string a couple together.
For OpTic here, just spreading themselves out now. No reason to really rush about this. Selfless may try to do some risky things in the event that they need to try and bounce the lead back into their control. They let the Ts take too large of a lead this early on in the half, but it continues for the remaining rounds here, going up to the 15th, and that's going to be extremely dangerous heading into that second half, especially considering now Selfless only took a very long time, I should say, to really correct their T side. They started off with a lot of issues there on that previous map, but Mainline's going to be tested first. He's placed himself in this area just outside of the apartments. They read it like a book, though, and Rush, just the slow wrap around. The shot's coming in way in advance. Mainline tries to hide it. That's not going to work. Mitch is able to respond, and Nifty with a good angle inside of the shops is able to find a correction shot to take down Naf. So down, there's 2 left alive here from the side of OpTic. And Uber's finding another pickup on the Dap. Shazam, last one alive in a 1v3. Picking up another kill on a Nifty, but still needs to take down 3 more and find his way onto this site in time to be able to close it out.
Oh, nice shot. Gonna get Nifty as well. Or Uber, I mean, it was so close. Almost able to get that no-scope. Does fall in the end. A good defense from Selfless. And actually, I mean, not even really the initial hold. It was the ability to buy time for the rotations for the teammates to come in to play. It really bailed Selfless out. Now they go to a double up setup, so they pick both up in that round. This is going to be huge for them. This is where they need to string together. If they get reset here, that would be maybe just the end of this half. I mean, OpTic could go on a massive run there with the way things have been playing out. And OpTic is still not switching anything up, not changing the pace, not throwing any new ideas at Selfless, just still playing this default that's worked out for him for their 5-round wins. 2 over in these B halls, 2 at the top of mid. Shazam has control, going to peek out towards Catwalk, and he does find a little bit of a battle, takes some damage, down to 70 HP.
OpTic here now, after they get that mid control, they're actually going to fall back around T-spawn, just mainly going for their default A execute as it would appear. So Uber and Relic, the big players that look to try and hold this. Mitch probably going to be able to ramp back inside too, but his attention's probably going to be drawn to Rush, who's already moved inside of that connector. Really nobody paying attention to that right now, so they need to be cautious. Mitch really keeping his eyes on middle, so got to be careful of that one. And Uber starting to get aggressive. The flash, it's thrown out, but it unfortunately affects him just as heavily as it does Naf, so he's not going to be able to find that kill. Has to fall back behind the triple stack on site. Rush, though, able to take down Uber to start it off. They've already got control of the site. Relic has been smoked off, and Mitch can't really find anything from this angle. He tries to peek out and takes that duel versus Naf, but not going to find a victory status there. So OpTic already off to a hot start here, closing things out. Mainline is still back over in jungle, but there's nothing he can really do.
Yeah, they're all trapped out of this bomb site at the moment. Stan, he's going to peek out slowly, bides his time, patiently finds that kill onto Relics. Nifty and Mainline now, what do? You have to save these guns. Mainline's just going to fall back, and now they're on the hunt. Rush is actually over towards the B bomb site. He's going to be in B halls. He might be able to cut them off. He hurries up just a little bit, but there's a lot of money on this OpTic side. Well, not a lot, but they do have the ability to throw some bodies at these remaining 2 members, see if they can get the guns out of their hands. Definitely want to try and get that AWP away from Nifty. And Stanislaw is going to be the first one to challenge, but Nifty nails that down. No one in there to take advantage. And there's Rush. Finally pounces. Now Nifty is trapped. Now they can send everyone at him, and Rush finds that as well.
Nifty, a bad decision made there just at the last moment. Tries to look away to check the site just in case he tried to surf his way down over there. Instead, not the case. And that ends up costing him his life here as OpTic retakes control of things up to 6-4. And Selfless are completely reset with no rifles saved from that previous round. Just going to go for upgraded pistols this time around.
Now they got to deal with Daps on that MAC-10. Wants to get that bonus money. We've seen when he has this, he's going to get very aggressive. Actually, the whole team now just rushing up a ramp, knowing there's not the utility, not the arsenal to stop them. Even a Molotov to force Uber out. It's nicely done. Good diligence by Nafly, and Nifty falls there in the end. So it is just going to be down to a 2-on-5.
Pretty quick one here. Mainline just trying to fire some shots to connector, but they get word of that pretty quickly, and Rush shuts it down. Mitch rotates himself over here towards CT, but he's a very easy shot away for Naf to be able to take down Mitch and the round. OpTic up to 7 now and starting to build up that economy once again. Highest player post-buy is Rush sitting at 11,000. And of course, plenty of the other guys are sitting with enough cash to force their way through quite a few more rounds. 8.4K on Daps, 7.2K on Stanislaw. It's a bit crazy here. Unfortunately, Selfless, because they had 2 players sitting really below the limit of a force up this time, they are going to have to go for a double save.
This is brutal. OpTic, a real opportunity to run away with this. And if it's not already gone out of the hands, but there's going to be mid-aggression. Nice nade, and now Stan spotted that out. He is completely blind. He's got a good angle, and actually it's Naf that saves his life. Sprays down 2 of them with the assist going to Stanislaw. And there's just Mitch left in this mid-ramp. 7 HP. Nade almost kills him. Not long for this roll. His teammates are coming to rotate in, but they're actually, it's not really going to be support. They're just coming to join in on the slaughter.
Naf's up to 4 kills too. Get the casual ace here as Mainline's the last one left alive. Just hunting him down at this point as he's trying to creep his way around through T-spawn, but what can he do? The answer is not a whole lot.
What can he do?
What more can I do?
Nothing. Nothing you can do here. You're going to be in T-spawn mainline, and there's nobody near you whatsoever. Stan's even watching the flank just in case this comes in. It looks like Naf is even just like, all right, I want this ace. It was a very casual ace. It was almost like just very...
That's what they always are in eco rounds.
Yeah, just didn't even realize that they were racking up that quickly all in one guy. And Naf now, I mean, he is the only one here. He's not going to find it. Mainline plays spoiler. Picks up the M4 as well. Now he's just going to fall back towards T-spawn, but just trying to save it out. Either way, this is a very tough half for Selfless. They haven't been able to have mid control. They've been content to let OpTic have it, and it's been, I mean, it's just been their undoing. I mean, that's such a crucial point in this map to hold. The terrorist teams need to have it, and really no one outside of Nifty has challenged for it whatsoever. That round there was aggression up mid, but it's just with pistols. It's on the eco. So this time with the guns, I think they need to put a little bit more pressure on OpTic there.
They do manage to get a couple more kills there, so trying to keep the economy a little bit lower, but ultimately Selfless now has to try and work something with this gun run investment. Nifty getting the op back in hand with armor sitting behind it as well. Same thing for the rest of his teammates by going for the M4 upgrades and a lot of utility coming onto the board here, so no more excuses for Selfless. Need to start closing out these rounds. OpTic already have the half advantage regardless of what these last 3 rounds end up yielding. For OpTic, it's going to be a pretty straightforward execute this time. Already working their way up to the A-bomb site. Thankfully for Selfless, there's a pretty heavy concentration of players up in mid. And Relics had like an emergency spotting of the players by ticket booth there. So he sees him, but he immediately jumps down. Molly's a little bit off the mark, so I don't think it's going to spread over to him. He should be safe to hang out here, but that does not mean the wild HGs can't roll in. There we go. Now the players from Team Selfless decide to pounce over here from jungle. And we're moving in from middle. They picked up 2 kills. Naf trying to round it back into his team's favor, but they don't spot Uber moving into Sandwich. That good smoke coverage over there is going to keep him hidden for the time being. Naf pushing back in, he finds another kill. So does Shazam. They've also killed that player in Sandwich too, so Rush picking back up from jungle. A little messy on the spray, but he is able to execute mainline. And the only one left alive is going to be Relics. They know exactly where he is. They can smoke him off. They can get this bomb onto the floor. And unless Relics comes out with an absolute miracle here, this is another one that'll go into the favor of OpTic.
3 on 5 for OpTic. They have brought it down into a round win. It looked so good for Selfless initially. It was a good tactical change by OpTic to go fast-paced towards the A-bomb site, because Selfless did exactly what I would have done. They tried to stop the mid control. They sent 3 players up mid one more time, but OpTic just kind of ruins everything. Either way, Selfless on the rotation gets those 2 initial kills. Looks like they're going to be able to play the retake very, very nicely. But as the smoke clears, all the kills go the way of OpTic. They fall prey. So now just nothing working out for them, and with only 4 rounds on the CT side, this is the result. They have to start just buying every single round. They have to put more rounds on the board somehow, but it's not looking likely. Stan opens things up, able to get the 2nd kill, and there goes Nifty and Window. So OpTic is just rolling away with things right now.
Nice, easy start for the guys on OpTic this time around. Mainline and Uber, the last one's alive. However, they aren't able to impact. Now finally turning it back off, and of course, those 2 kills should not mean much in the grand scheme of things, because it's all brought down to Uber now. He does have a scout to work with, but might want to be trying to save that, as his team is essentially going to be broken here at the end of this one. Losing bonus might end up putting them into a place where they will be able to force their way up, but it's going to be missing a whole lot.
Even misses the jump on stream. That's just...
feels bad, man.
It's kicking the balls is what it is. It's just insult to injury here for Uber. So he does have the FAMAS at least, but not going to go for any kills. He might try and get an exit. Shazam's watching the flank, so there's no real chance here, but just trying to upgrade to an AK-47 to give his team something into the next round. Regardless, this has been an outstanding terrace half for OpTic. A good recovery after that first map, and for the shock of Inferno, which is, like we talked about, it was their home map, so that upset was actually pretty good by Selfless. But OpTic here has had enough.
For Uber now, it looks like he'll be able to make it out of this round with the rifle. OpTic, interestingly enough, not really too keen on going like hunting for these final players. I don't think they obviously realized that Uber had managed to pick up that FAMAS, but still, despite the fact that they're basically floating on as much cash as they would ever possibly need, they're not really moving out to hunt down these final guns.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting. We saw it earlier that they were very hesitant to chase down as well. But either way, not too big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. It does let Relics get some of this utility. You see he's got Molotov, Smoke, Flash. It's not going to provide a whole lot, though, with the way this half has been going. OpTic has just won every fight they've been involved in. Mitch is now going to peek out from Catwalk, try and find a kill, spring through the smoke. He had the correct idea, doesn't land any of the bullets. Now Molotov going to force Rush back as well.
Rush not able to do anything as of yet, so Selfless with this good aggressive middle hold, already able to stop OpTic's plans initially, as they didn't want to try and take this control early on, but Mitch in the way of things back over here on Cat, where maybe OpTic would have tried to move to over these next few moments, but so far the plan's been stalled big time. OpTic, though, no worries whatsoever, very patiently just waiting this back out. Mainline inside of the apartments. He might try to get a little bit aggressive against Daps. He's going to be able to line the mark onto that kill, shutting down Daps. And Rush, unfortunately for him, is still stuck right now over here in the underpass.
Yeah, hasn't been able to move forward whatsoever, so they still have mid-control, though, and we've seen them come back from severe disadvantages into these rounds. They are running out of utility, though. 2 smokes to work with. Naf and Rush. One of those is going to be in B tunnels. Rush is in underpass. He uses that smoke, and that might have, he puts that in connector. So Shazam now, he's got a good angle up on Catwalk. It's going to all be about these entries into the B bomb site. Mitch playing at the bench, going for some kills, but he's exposed from a couple different locations. He does eventually fall. There's Nifty, pouncing on to Stan. 2 members here, and actually a dink goes out onto Naf. Shazam, he's got to peek and find something, but he's not able to. The flank from Catwalk also gets shut down, so Selfless at least get the last round of this half to give themselves 5 moving forward.
OpTic played a little bit too slowly that time, it seems, so Selfless are given all the time in the world to read into that, essentially, and rotate the appropriate players over to it. So unfortunately, once that mid is taken control of by Selfless, it seems like OpTic are sort of just scared of or can't really figure out what they want to do with themselves there. It takes so long to finally come to fruition with a plan, and when they finally do decide on it, they make it completely obvious as to what they're going to do. Smoking off towards Connector and no responsive one over towards Cat and whatnot, so Selfless are able to read that like a book. They rotate in, and they shut down the final round. However, OpTic still have a huge lead coming off of that T-sided half, and assuming this map plays to the normal standards, OpTic are absolutely going to have a ginormous advantage in the second half if they win this pistol round.
Yep, big pistol round here for Selfless to keep themselves alive into this one. Smoke, flash on mainline, armor on everyone else. They let utility on the OpTic side as well. It's just a kit and a smoke onto Shazam. And to start things off, mainline's going to be over towards the A bomb site. The other 4 of his teammates pushing through B halls, but look at Daps. So much information is gained from this. He knows there's not going to be any pressure, at least initially from middle. He does have to be careful. He is very isolated. There's no one from OpTic really supporting him here, so he could get wrapped upon from a couple different angles. Mitch is still just watching for any push to be highly aggressive from Daps' position, but this is all going to be a B play at the end of the day. And OpTic has 3 members here. Rush, Hidden, Shazam, and Naf are going to be there to bait for him.
So hiding back now, Selfless, baiting down the timer a little bit, mainline watching out for the flanks so they don't get that extra intel. OpTic as well, though. They have 3 stacked on this B-bomb site. Daps already reading on the middle. He's got the situation read on the Mitch and taking a little bit of a battle with him there, but nicely done. Daps taking quite a few shots to close it out, but he does manage to find his mark on a Mitch. Relics, though, rounding out their underpass, is going to try to sell the fake over here to the A-bomb site.
Yeah, it's a crucial kill from Relics to get that player. Still, though, Sanazal playing passively, jumps up, spots 1. No one from the B-bomb site has moved because, I mean, they know exactly what's coming. Relics is going to start flanking from behind. That's the X factor. Can it come to fruition in time? There it is. Rush is going to slaughter both of these members. Actually, no, he can't connect the kills. Nifty with 3 swift ones. Somehow this has been brought down into a 2-on-1. A huge mistake from Rush. The defense has collapsed. It's all on Stanislaw, and OpTic has got to be wondering what has happened.
Just gave away his position, though, and Nifty is caught while jumping, so Stanislaw has that first kill, and I think he knows Relics is hiding back here. Going to roll right in, trying to find that final frag, but Relics remains mobile and is able to close it out against Stanislaw, so very well played by Nifty, the hero there, to round that B-bomb site, take back into the favor of the T's. They pick up the pistol round, and that should keep them alive in this game.
How does that happen? OpTic has 3 members there. They have the perfect defense. It wasn't even the flank that killed him. It was Nifty. Gets all 3 entering that bomb site. OpTic, a heartbreaking collapse. It's such a huge advantage as well. And they aren't even going to buy into this. Rush and Naf do upgrade to the Deagle. They have armor as well, but no one else investing into that armor, just the pistols. So Selfless by themselves, a little bit of life. The opportunity they needed to try and make this comeback happen, though. The mainline, got to be careful. Does get tagged once. There's Daps. Can't connect with the kill. Mainline's going to be allowed to get away.
So mainline will retreat, and Selfless already lining up to get themselves into the A-bomb site. Relics will lead the charge from Palace as he investigates on a Rush there, and Rush not even aware of the fact that there could have been a player entering from Palace. He's caught completely off guard. Nav catches a glimpse of Relics before that smoke ends up blooming, but can't find the lock on it all to be able to finish him off. So now Uber's going to proceed for it. Picks up 1 kill in a Stanislaw. Mainline finding that flank there to shut out Nav. Nothing left for these CTs to do here. Daps the last one alive, but he's in a 1v5. There's not a whole lot he'll be able to do. However, keep in mind that OpTic did not really invest too heavily into this round at all, so we weren't really expecting all that much.
Yeah, Daps isn't going to be able to get anything done. So 7-10 as Selfless start to try and mount this comeback. It's a good start with so many players surviving, build up some money behind all these guns. They have 4 rifles, only 1 MAC-10 on a main line. So just being able to keep up some money to sustain some losses, because it is going to come into that next gun run, that 4th round, where Shazam's going to have his AWP. He's sitting at 3,100 right now. Might be glass cannon, might be light on utility, but he'll still have it. And he's been winning those duels throughout this whole map. Against his counterpart in Nifty.
So now Selfless here, back into a good advantage position, and OpTic still having to go for this one final save where they get the real investment going and a real chance to maintain their lead back onto the floor. Mainline making a whole lot of noise here in the A-bomb site, but unfortunately not a whole lot of progress on finding any of these kills. He brings Nav to 32 HP, but no real follow-up on that one. And Rush, it's now down inside of Sandwich. Mitch is going to roll in here and is able to close out onto Naf. This is where they were hoping to sell the fake towards. Just going in towards the A-bomb site and faking it out of the loop, but then actually going for the entry here. And it seems to have worked out great because of that heavy commitment to the B-bomb site that we saw some of the members of OpTic making. Now they get back in here, but there has still been some trades. So OpTic down to a 2v3 now after Relics finds a pickup on a Shazam, but you still have Nifty at 1 HP, so it's very easily these players are going to be able to bring this back down to a 2v2.
Yeah, it should be no issue from here. They've sustained the early damage. They have themselves in good post-plant positions. OpTic can still deal some damage. They have a smoke on Daps, but I mean that jump isn't going to help anything, and Uber is going to spread on the last one. Stan does fall, so 10-8 in the favor of OpTic as we get into these gun rounds. We are going to be able to see that op come out on Shazam. He'll have light armor, I believe.
So he'll be able to invest into that, you are correct. But for Selfless, though, building up quite nicely. You got 2 players now sitting over 5K, so in a really secure, really good position on this T-side economy to start off. That last round, unfortunately, not the best in terms of the trading power, especially considering what OpTic had invested towards, but OpTic have now saved up. They've purposefully avoided going for a second round force up or even a third round follow-up to that one, so they can invest much more heavily in this 4th round. They've got fleet utility, they got everything they need to hold back, and they've even got the armor, as you were mentioning before, sitting behind Shazam. So now it's about re-executing here and getting that lead back into their control on the CT side.
Takes a couple peeks. Shazam gonna try and jump up and spot from lower B, with that smoke plumes just at the wrong moment for any information to be gathered. Again, the Terrace team has complete mid control, slowly working their way up catwalk. Uber at the basic connector. And Relix is just sitting far back towards the A bomb site. So where does the aggression come into play? Stanislaw taking a battle with Mitch, comes up the ladder and wins that, but Shazam has found one onto Nifty. He's got to be a little bit more passively now that ladder room has been lost to him. Dap's still playing inside the B bomb site. OpTic doesn't have a good read on where this hit is eventually going to be coming from. Uber is going to wrap around with the bomb. Looks like he's going to come into the B tunnels as well to meet up with mainline, but Shazam is now rotated over here, so now they have the good read. It's going to be all on Mitch, who's in the middle of the map, able to cut off rotations.
And they're going to continue to push forward over here towards this B bomb site. As Relix is shut down, there's no follow-up from it, so Naf is free to rotate away from connector and further inside of the window room there. Daps is going to fully rotate in, but Shazam and Daps are both just destroyed by Uber and mainline as they enter into the B-bomb site.
Shazam had a sick angle, but took his eyes off 1 minute, allowed mainline to get a huge position on him, but he muffs that kill. That almost exposes his teammate, that almost lets Uber fall. Very, very close situation. 2-on-2 on this retake comes into play.
Rush down to 23 HP, trying to remain quiet as he sneaks in from catwalk. Nobody really paying attention to him right now. Mitch paying attention to Mark here. Rush is going to follow it up. That's where he shuts down Naf, but still, Rush is so low, he's going to have to try and finish off Uber on the site itself. He gets up close and personal, but no, it's not going to be close enough. Uber able to take him down, closes out the round, and once again, continues the conquest forward for Selfless to try and tie this game back up.
Back onto the save for OpTic, although no huge deal there at the end. Selfless not able to salvage the AWP, so they have to buy one over. But still, I mean, this is now a tough spot. This is that economic punish that we've seen so often. The CT team is just starving for cash at the moment, so Selfless an opportunity here to even things up. They even have the P90, the UMP on mainline, P90 on Relix. It's going to be mainline leading the way up this A ramp. He's one of only 2 players here, and Rush is going to get that first kill. And now this is scary. If mainline falls without a kill, huge advantage now for OpTic. Only 3 members left. They've given up all map control with these losses. They have to just rush B.
They're going to try to overwhelm this site, but despite that HE grenade connecting pretty heavily onto Daps, he's still able to find a kill on Relix, and he gets fed a nice gun here. Uber correcting that now by shutting down Daps, but as they push in Rush, still looking for a response to this, as is Stanislaw, and they just pop away, finishing off Nifty and Uber, and OpTic strike right back now to hold the lead at 11-9.
Yeah, very bad tactical decision by Selfless, just sending 2 members up that A ramp, even though it's just the SMGs. There's not a lot of killing power there, and they weren't being aggressive. They were staying far back, trying to take these fights, and just some nice shots with the Deagle, the P250 working out as well. OpTic gets a huge lead to start that round, and they can just choke them off from there. So 11-9, Selfless cannot equalize the scoreline, and even more importantly, their money is so low. They did buy the op in that round, and it had absolutely no impact. Losing this round for Selfless would put them back onto a save, and that would just be crushing to their efforts of making a comeback.
Shazam working his way out towards middle. He's going to get himself a battle with Mitch very early on here. Mitch, though, ends up winning it. Pretty heavy cost to his own life, of course, now sitting himself down at 4 HP, but they get that early advantage against Shazam. And now they're going to try to group themselves up.
Stanislaw is the big playmaker here. He's pushed all the way up mid. Naf is going to follow things up, go up catwalk. Question for Stan is, does he clear out B halls or does he go towards the A bomb site? And this looks like this B hit is going to come into play. This might turn Stanislaw around, but actually he continues forward. Meanwhile, this defense, Naf and Daps are going to hold strong. They hear no pressure. They hear him coming up connector, so there's no defense at this A bomb site, but Stan's flank might just be quick enough. What a play from Mitch. He finds it, but there it is. Naf and Rush chiming in. Naf gets another one, and now Stanislaw's here for the backstab. It's punishing. The bomb does get planted at least by Uber, but in a 1-on-3, it'll be so difficult to find anything. and it does get shut down by OpTic.
The hold on the B bomb site combined with the good rotation there from Rush along with Naf to get themselves quickly back over towards Connector and Jungle to hold control there. Good hold, and then Stanislav essentially just the security policy is he's wrapped back around. That was going to be a huge play, but he only ends up grabbing 2 kills that time. It's 2 kills that basically prevent some of those riskier situations on OpTic's side from happening though. So it works out great. Nicely played from Shazam, and good decision making from Stanislav to not double back to rotate over to the B bomb site as he was pushing through T-spawn. Now OpTic get to hold their lead once again, up by +3, and Selfless are broken. So they do have to do a bit of a half buy here.
That actually is a really good read of the game from Stanislav to not double back towards the B bomb site. And it might just be because Selfless has actually, run a couple fakes here. They've run 2 or 3 fakes on this T side so far. So Stan saying, all right, we've seen this before. We know it's not always what it seems. I'm going to just make sure I clear out this A site, especially because all of his defense rotated away. So he had a great position even without the kills of Naf coming into play, the 2 kills that really held things off initially.
He seemed pretty confident about it too, because normally in that situation you're a bit panicked, so you're just going to rush your way over there to quickly check it. But no, he continues to shift lock just to keep himself a bit quiet.
Cold as ice.
And it ends up paying off big time because he finds 2 free kills.
But this defense of the B site is going to have to hold strong one more time. Here comes the hit. Smokes, flashbangs raining over. Molotov going to come out. That might be a little bit late, though. Daps has got to reposition himself. He's blind. So is his teammate, but he does find himself under window. Mitch gets the first kill. Now Daps can go to work, but he only gets 1. It's traded off immediately. Shazam's here, but through the smoke, these Tech 9s don't slow down. Rush coming through the window. Grabs Nifty up at close range. No one else in the bomb site for Selfless. Nav's going to be rotating off Catwalk. Rush is going to be trying to assist him. And there it is. Relic's forced into a peek, and now they know where mainline is. He's only got a Tech 9. He's been brought down so low. And he's even been spotted as he readjusts his position. So Rush is going to be the first one to go up against him in mainline. Can't get that kill. It's going to be the defuse in a 13th round for OpTic.
So Selfless, though, after going for that buy there, that was sort of the half buy that they need to bring them down into a place where, after saving previously, they're going to be able to go for the buy up here. However, the problem, though, is, again, OpTic are working with this monster economy. They also had to work against this back over on Inferno to a certain degree, too, where they finally had to break it. It was like, I think it was like 12 or 13 rounds in a row that OpTic were just able to buy through it despite the minimal losses that they suffered there. So Selfless is going to have to try and break that once again. They're going for the buy here. It gives Nifty the op, so maybe they get a little bit of extra firepower that's needed to push them over the edge to be able to find a 10th round. But if not, and things will be looking very dire indeed, as OpTic will sit only 2 rounds away from closing it out. And Selfless, especially if they don't find a plant, are not going to be in a situation where they can force it up again.
Yeah, the pressure is on, and it's Shazam who's actually out on Catwalk very aggressively, trying to peer over the smoke in mid. It's actually a pretty clever look, and he just drops down, doesn't see anything initially, feels no presence, sees no smokes or flashbangs or anything from Selfless. They're playing so far back, giving Nifty the time to do exactly that, finding a pick. Now even shooting through the wall, kind of sensing what's coming, not dealing damage. Might assume that's clear with those shots, but they've got to be careful, because the bomb is going to meet up with them. And there's Shazam. He even goes for a challenge. There's a little bit of damage.
But there we go. As mainline tries to peek his way out, Shazam's going to be able to finish him off. As now Selfless do end up calling off this B hit. They had some players sitting outside of the B halls. They're going to wrap through. They're going to wrap through T spawn instead. You can rip with the Relic, who's already pushed out the T ramp and is up near Tetris right now.
This could be a big play. He's going to spot one jumping. Now they know where he is, but the rest of his teammates are here as well. So Mitch gets that opening kill onto Rush. 3-on-4 situation. Not really using any utility to do this as well. Finally, the smoke comes out. Nifty is going to be able to stop this. No, he's not. He misses the shot. But Daps is going to come back to deal with him. Is Nifty going to expect him to be on his close left? He's got a weird angle, and he actually takes a second shot. Almost lands it, but there's Naf with one more kill. This is collapsing for Selfless. It looks so good.
And now it's down to just Mitch and Relics. They're trying to hold on to this site, but down goes Mitch. Relics out in the open here on this site, but he still kills another player in a second one of the Daps, and then he finishes it off. Takes down Naf, a huge clutch from Relics, and Selfless get to keep themselves in this game.
When everything seemed lost, Relics with a huge round, big triple kill. Still money on the OpTic side to buy, but he bails them out of a tough spot. That's beautiful stuff. Right underneath the stairwell, and OpTic didn't even see him. Gets those first 2 kills. Nice recoil control on the second one, and then the third member from OpTic is just so low. But now they've got to string them together. At least they have no op to go against. Shazam is back on the M4.
Selfless here, though, holding back by quite a bit. Going to play a passive now, just in case OpTic decided to do something rash, grouping up mainly at the entrance to the back B halls there. Not going to be spotting anything just as of yet, as OpTic themselves, just like you saw back on Inferno, are playing a very passive style at this point. Shazam with the usual peek over here in the side of the window room, but nobody getting aggressive, pushing up mid or pushing through the back of the B halls just as of yet.
Naf playing in connector at the moment. gathering a lot of information in towards mid. Now he's going to get peeked upon. Top mid control coming in delayed for Selfless. That flashbang nap, is he going to be able to get one? He does grab the first one. He knows one's behind this box, and he's just pre-firing everything, but he can't control it. Uber does drop him. Even Shazam takes a lot of damage here from mainline in the underpass. Got to play a little bit more passively. Relic's also challenging at the edge of apartments.
So keeping it even down into a 4v4 here, but OpTic themselves still very spread out right now. So Selfless, assuming they just go for a straightforward execute here, they're going to have the absolute advantage. But OpTic over clear to the B's bomb site, those defenders have decided to get much more aggressive. They want to try and grab some intel, and they've gotten quite a bit of it here. Stanislaw moving out to spot at the mid play, and Daps is going to be safely able to push through T-Spawn and get behind these players once again. Unfortunately for Rush, he's overwhelmed. 3 guys all up in his face, and Shazam trying to fire up too, but a molly literally explodes right in his view pane. And Relic is going to be able to finish him off with a nice shot to the head there. So just 2 left alive from OpTic. And Daps is going to move in. He finds a trade, but ultimately Stanislaw now has to pull off a 1v3. Nice little tap there to take down Uber, but they've spotted him. He's now down at just 29 HP.
He's got a Molotov and a flashbang to use. Flash going to go in the halls and try and bust this stack up, but mainline's having none of it. Smacks him aside. 13-11 now as Selfless closes the gap. They got so close earlier to tying up at 10-10 and only to lose an anti-eco. So now they've got a little bit more ground to cover. It's going to be a save out of OpTic. No rifles. They upgrade a couple pistols. But Selfless all of a sudden sitting in a pretty good position. And I mean, their economy still isn't that great. They haven't been able to build up too much money, but this is the opportunity here to get them some kind of a cushion to be able to survive some losses in the future rounds as this half comes to a close.
OpTic going to try to get aggressive this time, but it's not the usual path by pushing themselves up middle. They've got 3 players inside of underpass right now, getting ready to stop OpTic from pushing up to that site. It works out great initially as they find a 2-for-2 trade. Mitch finding 2 pickups there for his team, but Rush along with Stanislaw finding 2 to respond right back to that from the side of OpTic. 2 pickups on the rifles as well. Rush and Daps now upgrading themselves to AK, so they've got a lot more firepower to work with here too.
Yeah, Molotov's going to stream out smokes and all the connectors, so they're going to block themselves off from any kind of rotation. These AK-47s on OpTic, they might just want to save them for the next round. They're going to go for this, though. Actually, that fake plant, not the best idea. You're allowing more time for Daps to get in a position to prevent this, although he is smoked off. He could find a gap around the edge of that. He does. He wasn't too aggressive with it initially, so the bomb does get planted, but 3 members of OpTic are right here ready to go.
And Daps hoping that somebody tries to get aggressive and moves out into the open. It's not going to be happening, though. As these players push forward, Shazam, nice lineup from him, able to take down one of these remaining players. Spots the other one by Tetris, tries to surprise, but all he does is get in the way. As Nifty finds 2 kills, Rush responding down to a 1v1 now. We can see Relic is repositioned again, going to be looking for that clutch as he pops back out and just locks right on there to Rush, shutting him down. Another clutch from him. And Selfless only 1 round away from tying it up against OpTic once again. Yeah, but they lose 4 members, so they're not able to build up that much money. They have to rebuy into this, so it's still a very tenuous situation where if they lose a round, they're going to be back onto maybe a half buy, maybe just a full save, and this late in the half, that could be crippling. Still no AWP out on Shazam. They've at least kept that away from him in the later stages of this match. He is going to go back towards mid, towards the window, but Selfless is lining up 4 members towards the A bomb site. It seems like they want to be committed to an A execution right off the bat. And Selfless, there they go, rolling right into that A bomb site, all on Rush to try and hold this back. Pick up that first kill, relocate to the other side of the big boxes there and tossing the nade over. But now that flash that was thrown out perfectly is able to allow him to fall back over here towards jungle, and now it's time to party. He's up on top of the steps, but they got to be careful. There's a flank working its way in from Connector. They don't spot it. Relics picks up that kill. Rush a little bit slow, but thankfully the flash basically completely blinded Relics, so he's got plenty of time to look for that kill. Stanislaw finding another, but Mitch also responds down to a 2-on-3, but they've got to be careful with mainline. He's kind of out in the open right now with only 5 HP. Yeah, this has been so hectic. It slows down a little bit finally. The pop flashes from OpTic, the support flashes coming in were perfect to help Rush get a couple kills. Mainline has the bomb. He's stuck towards the top of A ramp. None of them want to move quite yet. Mitch is in a really difficult spot as the smoke clears as well. He's got so many angles to worry about, and he's got to use these boxes very, very well. He does find one at stairs. That's Shazam who falls. No chance for a refrag, and Mainline gets Daps. All of a sudden, Selfless has made this doable, and they even spot out the last player. They spot out Stanislaw. He's got to get aggressive, and Mitch is going to be able to find him out in the open. 13-13. These last 3 rounds from Selfless have been incredible. Another dream comeback is going to be a possibility here for the guys on Selfless. They seemed like they were done for here, but on the last round where they would have had a chance to come back into this game, Relics comes out with an absolutely monster clutch and has now given his team the chance to get back into this match. OpTic, their economy down in the dumps once again, only going to be able to go for upgraded pistols and a couple players buying up armor behind it. Essentially 0 utility, so Selfless have a pretty easy round here to take the lead. Yeah, OpTic, I mean, they're running out of ideas now.
Two players going to be pushing down A ramp, trying to grab some info, but look at this setup from Selfless. This is an exact setup to prevent this kind of aggression. So Mitch, get that first kill. Another one streams out. You control the recoil. He gets all three. Big play from Mitch. Now Daps and Shazam are the last two left, and Selfless can pick wherever they want to go on the map. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Relics is even going to find Shazam. Nice recovery as he drops out. This guy is on fire right now.
Daps the last one alive, but he's completely disconnected from all the action over towards the B-bomb site. All he's got to work with is a P250, so probably going to try to fire some shots over here to the players that are visible through connector, but now he's giving himself away. And mainline is waiting for him. It's a nice dink on a mainline, but not enough to execute him. Brings down to 8 HP. Selfless now have the lead. Another round where they don't lose a single player. They've been struggling to build up their economy, but it's now growing pretty consistently here. Whereas OpTic buying up for one more time. Double op setup this time around as well. They're going to give an op into the hands of Naps. Let's see what they can work with this, but that also removes another player from a full utility buy.
Yeah, big investment here, big risk. They switched to this. I mean, they've been shut out in the past 5 rounds by Selfless. They only have a pocket of 3 rounds won in this half so far. This double op setup has got to be huge, but Rush, that's exactly what you don't want, because now the bomb site is open. Smokes are going to come out to block off these AWPs, and these weapons are so difficult to manage retakes with, and it's going to be a 4-on-5 they'll have to do this on. And how are they going to make this work with very little utility?
It's a race to the site, but Stanislaw connects the kill onto Uber just as he's planting that bomb down. Mitch responds, though, finding another pickup for his own team, but Stanislaw with a touchdown grenade rolls it right back in, and Shazam has this great angle, was able to spot Relic, so he just wraps around the corner, casually takes him back down. Inside of connector, though, they still have Nifty, and that's going to be where the clutch needs to come from there. He peeks back out, down to 35 HP, but this also gives mainline when he needs to peek out from the T-ramp. He finds a kill on Shazam. We're down to a 2v2. Stanislaw with a good peek, though, finds a kill on the mainline, and then Nifty falls due to NAF. So OpTic still keeping themselves in this game, but just barely.
Only able to salvage one of those ops as well. Nifty makes such a good play, holding the trigger, the discipline to try and search for a second kill and transfer over to an easy one. And Shazam, who had no idea he was there. Doesn't work out for him. But either way, 14-14 coming down to the end. OpTic somehow makes that retake work with 2 AWPs locked out behind the smokes. Still, neither team, the OpTic side is very low on money. If they lose this and let Selfless get to 15, that last round is going to be such a struggle for them. Selfless is a little bit better off, but still pretty punishing. And again, Selfless wants to take this one very cautiously. Don't want to lose to any kind of aggression. Far back spotting for everything.
So still taking it slow here, but it's the same thing for the side of OpTic. Very rarely, we've only seen about 2 or 3 rounds in the half, and these guys have decided to get a little bit more aggressive about their CT-sided strategy and try to push it mid or trying to go for that underpass push, and they've more than likely, most times than not, been on eco rounds. But there's mainline pushing it through underpass, a great up flash too, completely blinds NAF, and they get their first kill for free.
Even Daps stuck on the UMP. He's going to be in the B bomb site. So mainline looking for more. Shazam's going to try and equalize things. Molotov comes out with the spam as well. They do massive damage and he burns alive. Nicely done for mainline to find this pick. Now it forces Stan into an aggressive stance. He's got to find some info, try and grab a kill, and everyone's collapsing. It's all down to Daps so quickly. Selfless have grabbed hold of this match.
And Daps now, nothing he can do. He's just going to push himself over here to the A-bomb site and attempt at finding as many kills as he possibly can, but that's not going to matter when you're heading to the final round of regulation time. Mainline shuts down Daps. And here we go. OpTic not even going to be able to bring all that much to the table. Take a look at it. It's just CZ's 257, the third coming on to NAV. They'll buy up armor behind it, but in terms of utility, 3 smokes for the entire team, 4 flashbangs, and a single HE grenade coming on to Rush.
Such a dire situation for OpTic to be in. Facing 0-2 on the evening against Selfless. They only have pistols to save them. It has worked out before, but look at Selfless. They just want to end it. Fast play towards the B bomb site. Stanislaw and Daps are the only 2 here. Daps over by the van. He gets eliminated immediately. There's Mitch out of Stanislaw. They have the bomb site. They're planning it. Shazam gets a 5-7 kill at long range, but they still need much, much more. Shazam pushing forward. Gets a second kill. Gets a third. Shazam pulls him right back into this 3-on-2 situation. Reloading now. And it's just Nifty and Mitch, although Mitch has relocated himself to the bench. He could surprise here. Shazam working himself around. He falls. There's Mitch with one more. Massive damage coming out. Nifty close up. Gets behind cover in time. Uses the pistol. Mitch still doing work, so they've salvaged the situation. Shazam bought them a chance at a miracle, but Selfless has closed the door.
Nav can't seem to find a frag onto any of these remaining players here moving in, and finally Nifty with a peek outside of the window. He's going to close it down, and Selfless 2-0 the players against OpTic tonight. They're going to take 2 more points. That keeps them in the top 4 and grows them even higher in the ESL Pro League rankings.
That was a phenomenal matchup between these two teams. And again, it's adjustment, it's recovery from Selfless. Again, down in that second half, and they didn't even take a pause this time. They just kind of figured it out, and they come right back. Despite losing an eco round, that could have been mentally crushing, and they hold strong and outlast them in the end.
Big plays from Mitch in that game, too, who we were talking about was a little bit quiet on that last map. Was sort of like, what's he doing on this roster? We hadn't really been seeing too much from him as of late, but there you go. That's the reason why. Ends up top fragging at the end of that game, I believe.
Just to, just to make a addendum, I guess it would be that I did get some tweets that said that Lucky was just focusing on school, so it wasn't cut for any kind of performance reason. But Mitch did come in, had a really good game. I mean, all the Selfless members started out a little bit slow in that one, but they came up in the end. We're going to take a quick break, guys, but when we do come back, it's going to be our second doubleheader of the night. That's going to be between Splice and Renegade, so stay tuned for that one, and we'll be right back.
Woo.